Today is the Monday of the Holy Week, the first day as we journey through this week, preparing ourselves to celebrate the mystery or the Paschal mystery, as we call it. The mystery of life which comes to us when we celebrate and remember the death of our blessed Savior. The readings today, taken from the book of Isaiah the prophet, as well as the Gospel according to John, chapter 12, gives us an insight into how life can be lived by some people in a very pessimistic, negative way. If you focus our attention to the Gospel passage according to chapter 12 of John, we find that Jesus has now been invited, or he has visited his own friends, Lazarus, Martha, and Mary. Obviously, it was after the raising of Lazarus from death, and naturally, the family was immensely grateful to Jesus for what he did to their brother. And I'm sure Lazarus himself, who was his friend, was also tremendously grateful for raising him from his own death. And there was going to be an encounter of joy, happiness, gratitude, and also celebration of their friendship, celebration of life. But what we see there, as John records it, is that the disciple of Jesus, Judas Iscariot, who was handling the money, and of course, as the reading tells us, he was himself into stealing money, now voices his concerns about the use of expensive fragrance of the ointment. And he says, why was this ointment not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor? Now, on the face of it, you can see that he's saying something that is pretty logical and also reasonable. But at the same time, it is not what he says. Who is saying it? That's the important thing there. Now, as we know, Judas Iscariot was one of the disciples of Christ. But at the same time, he was not a man who was all that convinced of the mission and the life and the vision that Jesus had for all his disciples. He was not just able to get there. Why? Because as in psychological terms, we sometimes say people see the world not as the world is, but as they are. That is to say that some of us, whether we like it or not, we just don't have the capacity within ourselves to see the good in other human beings, the good in events that happen in and around us, the good that is there in spite of the negative darkness around us. There is always something that is good in everything. There is a silver lining in every dark cloud, they say. So now Judas comes out with this criticism or with this comment, which is a reflection of his own self. Sometimes we have people who are just not able to see good in anybody or in anything in life. We call them sometimes people who are pessimistic or negative-minded, whatever the term that we use. But that is because, not that there is nothing good in every human being or in everything, but just that they are themselves caught up in their own little world. It is a world of pessimism, a world of criticism, a world of finding nothing that is good. I can share with you one of these examples because now I've been a parish priest for the last almost 2 years. There is this retired lady in my parish who I remember from the day one, whenever she has to say something, she always points out something that is not right, something. Maybe she will say, the color of the wall is not good, you should have painted it in a different way. Or the bulbs are not working, why don't you put new bulbs? The garden flowers are not good because you had to plant new flowers. It's always something that is not good, always something that is negative. Now, I remember this very much because last year when we had the Easter bombings, she called me and then she tells me, Father, Catholics will all have to die now. You be ready for death because the terrorists are going to attack us. They will destroy our parishes. They will destroy our people. Let's get ready, Father. Please don't go out. Please don't go anywhere with anybody that you don't know. So it was a whole harangue of negative, pessimistic comments. And now comes the coronavirus, which is now around us today, around everywhere in the world. And she calls me at least few times and tells me, Father, the coronavirus is around us. I think it's going to kill all of us. The world will be destroyed. Let's get ready for our death. So now I tell her myself, now last year you wanted all of us to be killed, and this year also you have come up with another plan to kill us. I almost told her, why don't you see that not all are going to be killed, not all are going to be sick. Of course, some of us will be sick, some of us will have to die. That's the reality of life. So it is again a question of not being able to see the world as they are, as it is, but seeing the world as oneself is. If I have that darkness within me, if I have that negativity within me, if I have that lack of positivity inside of my life, I'll always bring that out through my words and through my actions. So therefore, my dear friends, as we prepare for the celebration of the Paschal Mystery, let us ask ourselves, do I see the world as it is, or I see the world as I am? Amen.